Yellowstone National Park, I've been here 15 times camping. Madison Campground is the best. Check out all this traffic leaving the park late in the afternoon. At the end of the video, I'll share with you why you want to camp inside the park and not outside in West Yellowstone. Let's go check out Madison Campground. One of the best features of this campground is it's right on the beginning of the Madison River. Check out tight though some of these loops can be if you're pulling a trailer or a rig. Some of these loops actually are tent only, but many are RV accessible, but they are limited to the size of your rig. Let's go check out this campground. Will this campground work for you? I think it's the best campground in the park. Here's a general store. You can actually get supplies. This has actually been in here for the last several years. You can buy food and firewood in this general store. There are restrooms in this campground, no showers. There's a dump station, and all the sites are dry. I'm going to share with you all that information, and hopefully it gives you a feel for, does this campground work for you? Let's take a quick drive around Loop B to give you a feel for what these loops might look like and whether this campground might work for your rig or your tent. Let's go check it out. So you want to book this campground using the private service called Xanterra that the Yellowstone uses to book your rig. I usually book over a year in advance. As you can see, some of these rigs in here though are pretty large, which is impressive considering these campgrounds in these older national parks were built decades and decades ago before the rigs became big. But you gotta be able to navigate these loops, and they get tight in spots. When you book with Xanterra, you have to let them know the size of your rig, and they will accommodate based on the campsite. As we drive through Loop B here, check out how tight the loop gets. Even with my small little trailer, my trailer just squeezes through this loop in spots. So if you have a big rig, I mean, it could be challenging to navigate around these loops in this campground in spots. As you can see, the campground's full of trees. It's gorgeous. One of the best features, though, of this campground is the short walk down to the Gibbon and Firehole rivers where the Madison River forms. Let's go check that out.
There's the river.
As you can see, the river is gorgeous. Awesome place to fly fish if you want to do some fly fishing. You got the license. Let's go check out what an individual campsite might look like from an amenity standpoint, from a picnic table, fire ring, etc. So you have a feel for that.
The grill area, all over one range, you can see what happens. Picnic table, bear boxes, heavily treed with the lone pines. Pretty good space between sites.
I want to share with you what the campground campsites look like from a trailer standpoint. Some of them are pretty big drive-through type campgrounds with no trees that might interfere with you. But you know, some of them are very tight in the trees, so you got to be prepared for what you might get when you check in. You don't book these campsites individually like most campgrounds. They assign them to you when you arrive. Let's go check out a bathroom at the camp. These bathrooms are very old, but they do have power inside them. So if you got your hair dryer or razor you want to use, they have running water and flush toilets, which is nice. No showers though. So a few years back, this is the grizzly bear I saw along the Madison River just downstream from our campground that was walking along the ridge. You really need to be aware, bear aware. Never leave your food unattended in your campsites, and make sure you're using those bear vaults at the campground. Another quick view of what the loops might look like in the campground. I'll take you on a bike ride we did many years ago with my kids. At the Madison Campground, we're just kind of
riding our bikes, looking for trailers with zippers for Daniel, and looking at license plates from over. Remember to bring your bikes. A lot of fun just riding around camp and enjoying this river.
The ranger program that you had years ago here before COVID was awesome. They did a fire at night. Tons of wildlife in Yellowstone, wolves, some grizzly bears, as you've seen in these pictures I took the last few years when I visited here. But I wanted to share with you why you want to stay inside the campground, inside the park. This is the traffic trying to get out in the evening, but it gets worse if you're staying outside the park in the town of West Yellowstone and trying to get back into the park in the early morning. The traffic becomes gridlock trying to get in the park, and you're going to waste a lot of hours traversing inside and outside the park just sitting in traffic. So highly recommend finding a campground inside the park. In my opinion, Madison Campground's the best, but check all this traffic out in the town of West Yellowstone trying to come in one of the mornings we were there when we were heading out. So let's go back to camp. My favorite feature of the camp, like again, is this river, the Gibbon River. We had some bison along this river one evening here, just eating the grass. But we just sat on the riverbank and enjoying watching the bison and watching the fish jump in the river. So, what do the dump stations look like at Madison Campground? We have this great scenery. What about the amenities? Dump station at Madison, really nice. It's got 3 lanes that you can dump at, which is pretty amazing. Got clean water, fresh water, if you want to fill your tanks. And like I say, 3 lanes, 1, 2, 3. So the advantage of those dump stations is you can dump your tanks, get fresh water. You can stay in your campground here at Madison and check out the geysers in Yellowstone for a long period of time if you can keep emptying those tanks and getting fresh water. Old Faithful here is amazing. Steamboat Geyser, though, not that far away from campground. Old Faithful is maybe 40 minutes away, but Steamboat's only 15 minutes away. It was still erupting here 5 years ago, 12 hours after the main eruption. One of the biggest geysers in the world. Love this campground. My son here loves his corn on the cob and sitting around with a fire at night. We made a lot of good memories over our 15 visits to Yellowstone, staying in Madison Campground. I got some baked potatoes too going in there. It's gonna be a good dinner. The rig is doing okay. Got clear skies tonight. So many great memories at Madison Campground inside the Yellowstone National Park here. I'll leave a link in the description to a couple other videos I made. One of the challenges of getting back into the park and some other the campgrounds up in the northern part of the park. Appreciate you watching. Until our next adventure, thanks for being here.